Whether it's at the pump or in the grocery aisles, prices are soaring and Americans are feeling it in their wallets. Kevin Cork has more from Washington on what's causing inflation to surge.
Gas prices continue to creep upward, and officials warn that the conflict between Ukraine and Russia could cause even more pain at the pumps. The average price for a gallon of gasoline now as high as $3.67 in some states, and that's actually 17 cents more per gallon than just a month ago, and $1 more than this time last year. Some Senate Democrats are considering a gas tax holiday, saying suspending the federal gas tax would save drivers more than 18 cents a gallon. But gas prices aren't the only issue plaguing Americans. The price of food is also on the rise.
We try to figure out ways to make things stretch more. Like, can you add pasta to it or potatoes, things that are cheaper and fill the kids up faster?
More Americans say they're turning to food banks amid the surging inflation. U.S. consumer prices continue to rise as well. In fact, they've done so at the fastest annual pace in almost 40 years. That according to data from the U.S. Department of Labor. Food banks have come to the rescue for thousands of Americans throughout the pandemic, and it seems demand won't be letting up anytime soon. Food bank officials say they will continue to help families, but even they are feeling the strain of rising prices.
So it's actually a small portion of food that we're purchasing, about 20%. But yet that expense for us has more than tripled in the last 2.5 years.
Prices for goods and services around the country are also rising, and experts say that could continue to surge in the coming weeks. That is certainly not very good news. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork.
About 1 in 4 Americans are reducing necessities in food or medicine in order to pay their energy bills. That's according to an analysis of recent census data by HelpAdvisor.com. 16% of Americans kept their homes at unsafe temperatures to keep their bills low, and 1 in 6 were unable to pay their full energy bills at least once last year. People in Arkansas and New Mexico forwent food and medication so they could pay an energy bill. That's the most compared with other states. California and New York had the highest back payments in utilities. You might have noticed your daily cup of joe is getting more expensive. In fact, roasted coffee spiked more than 9% last year, and that is having an effect on both consumers and businesses where coffee is sold. Jake Karalexis has more from Redmond, Washington.
From someone who drinks 2 cups almost every day, it's concerning. Customers are starting to notice the change, and coffee roasters are in a tough spot. How can they keep up with these rising prices without moving the cost to customers?
Everybody's basically taking a hit.
Your next cup of coffee is gonna cost you.
We're not making any money on the drip coffees anymore because the cost of coffee has gone up so much.
Roasted coffee prices haven't spiked this much since 2012. Andrea Parrish owns Victor's Celtic Coffee. She's already trying to manage the rising costs.
We've increased prices 6% over the last 2 weeks.
Frank Curtis and his wife come to Victor's once a week. He says they've noticed their coffee is more expensive.
If it keeps going at some kind of rate like this, eventually it would have to factor in for us.
With costs going up, people are making their own coffee to save money.
They're buying a really nice machine and buying a really good roasted coffee and brewing at home.
Customers aren't the only ones feeling the heat. Coffee is getting more expensive for roasters like Philip Meach.
With where prices are going right now, our monthly average of costs might go up $6,000 to $8,000.
Roasters are trying hard not to pass costs to customers. Victor's is changing things up to bring in more revenue.
Merchandising, Uber Eats, Uber to go, the local art shows, having live music, attracting more customers in different ways.
With coffee prices going up, retail coffee sales in the U.S. decreased last year for the first time in at least 4 years. In Redmond, Washington, Jake Karalexis.